Hi there, I'm Guy Cater. Welcome to the Guy Cater Show. Now, fantasy books are full of knights and fairies. Well, this is no fantasy, this is real, and tonight we've got one of each. On the show tonight, we have a knight, and he's known the length and breadth of New Zealand as the Mad Butcher. He is Sir Peter Leach. Following Sir Peter Leach tonight, we have a real live fairy, every little girl's dream. Her name is Trixie. But first up, as promised, Sir Peter Leach. Sir Peter, thank you so much for coming on my show.
I'm humbled to be asked. I'm absolutely humbled.
I know you are, that's what I like. No, Peter. Thank you for being on the show. It's a variety show about variety entertainers in New Zealand. And when I told somebody you were coming on the show, they said, but he's not an entertainer. Well, you are. You're one of the most entertaining people I know. And you go out and you do public speaking, you do after-dinner speeches. Tell us a bit about that.
Look, it's really amazing. People want to hear my story. And I don't rate myself, funny enough. I'm doing one tomorrow, and I won't sleep tonight. I'll toss and turn. And I just go in there and I talk about my life. I talk about, how I started, how I was a grave digger, and how the business grew from a little butcher shop to a big butcher shop, and then how I battled, cancer,
yes.
A rare form of bladder cancer, and might talk about my wife going through a breast cancer and all that sort of stuff. And along the way, I try to, depending what the company wants, I try to give them, hone in on, they might want service, loyalty or whatever, and I try to hone in on that. And then, of course, afterwards, I always sell the book. What a ride, mate. I've just got another 1,000 in from China. Yes. But no, look, it's funny. You get if you want a quality speaker, a real quality, you get someone like Sir Graham Henry, But I'm not, like you are, right? I am an entertainer because, mate,
yes.
If there's a good-looking woman in the audience, I'm down there having her on,
yes.
cuddling that. Like, I'll give an example. I spoke to McDonald's in Rotorua just a few months ago, and I went down and hugged a couple of ladies in the audience. Then after I finished, I was outside signing books, and the big boss of McDonald's came over and he said, I can't believe this, they're queuing up to get cuddles. All the women wanted a cuddle, so it's a bit of fun. But it used to be a way to raise money for charity, and you put yourself through some pressure doing it.
Yes.
I don't know about you when you do a gig, do you get nervous? But, man, I to be blunt, I shit my pants.
I've never thought of you as being nervous.
Oh yeah. Even when I do my lounge at Mount Smart, I worry. Am I
yes.
going to be all right? And maybe that's because my wife keeps in my ear. You're wasting. You're not silly. You're just rude to people. But you can be funny and be rude to people.
Well, yes, you can,
yeah.
and people will accept it coming from you.
Yeah.
You're one of the most well-known men in New Zealand. You really are. Now, you mentioned your book. At the launch, I got this book, and that was a long time ago, and there were so many people there that you weren't there to sign it. So
well, hold on. You didn't say who was there.
Well,
the Prime Minister.
The
Right Honourable Helen Clark was there.
Okay, before you do that, now, recently I saw a photograph of you with John Key,
yep.
Prime Minister, the Right Honourable John Key. In Helen Clark's own words, your old chums.
Yes.
And I remember you taking me to a sports luncheon once, and the guest speaker was David Lange, past Prime Minister. When he'd finished his speech, he chose to come and eat at our table because of you. When you were that gravedigger and that young man growing up, did you ever dream you'd be with these sort of people?
Never in my wildest dreams. And every day I wake up, I look in the mirror as I shave, and I think, man, what a ride it's been. And truly, it has been a ride. Incidentally, the name of the book come from Dave Roberts, who lives in Canada.
Yes.
He's a police photographer who you met many years ago, and he actually came up with the ride and the photo.
Right.
Look, it's been an incredible thing. I pinch myself because, mate, I was with some people the other day, and the bloke said, oh, mate, this guy's well connected, can ring the Prime Minister. And the guy said, oh, you're all shit, butcher. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you $500. And, mate, I took a punt. Rang the Prime Minister and he answered the phone. He may not have. It may have gone to voicemail.
Yes.
And the guy coughed up the 500. We donated it to a charity. But it's just great. And I think I hosted the Minister of Sport at the Warriors game the other day, the Right Honourable Jonathan Coleman and another minister and a local MP. And he had a great time, but I looked after him, and there's a mutual respect because they know what I do in the community. They know I don't do it for ego. I do it because I genuinely want to help people. And no one knows that better than you because you've been a friend of mine for, how many years now?
Close to 30.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So we know each other pretty well.
And I do know that in those very early days, the sausage sizzles cost you money.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning then. But you were out there in the community helping everybody.
Yeah.
And me.
Don't do the barbecues now that I'm a knight. A knight can't be seen doing a barbecue, old chap.
No. How has knighthood affected you?
Well, mate, I get free travel on the planes. I get security guards when I go out. No, that's all bullshit. You get a little bit more respected. In rugby league terms, it's helped me. I'm more respected in the Australian Rugby League now.
Yes.
And particularly in England, when I was there with the Kiwis, mate, they love nights over there. I went to this function this night, and it's absolutely chock-a-block. No, Dorman says, sorry, mate, can't let you in. She's, chock-a-block. And as I went to walk away, someone went over to him and said, mate, that guy is a knight. That is Sir Peter Charles from New Zealand, mate, a legend. And mate, next to the guy, oh, come back, sir. I'm sorry, sir, I made a slight mistake. You go in. And he threw 2 other people out. So they do love it. But no, look, it does help me a little bit with my charity work. Yes. Yeah, but look, I have fun. You might come up to me and say, g'day, Pete, and I'll say, excuse me, it's Sir Peter. Or you'll come up and say to me, g'day, Sir Peter. Don't be a dickhead, mate, it's Peter.
Yes.
Well, you've experienced
I've experienced that both ways.
Yeah.
Love it in the lounge when you're abusing people for not calling you one or the other.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. The Mad Butcher is known length and breadth of the country. I know because I include you in some of my comedy when I'm working. And of course, all I got to say is, hey, it's your old mate, the Mad Butcher. Where did that come from? Everybody knows it.
Mate, it just started, and the catch fried now. G'day, your old mate, the Mad Butcher. And you know what? Wherever I go, and I love telling this story in respect to Graham Hill and his wife, the richest people in New Zealand, certainly out of my bracket, let me tell you. He's got a boat worth more than all my assets and all your assets and half the New Zealand's assets. And I've got a little kayak. But the first time I met them was at a fundraiser at Waiheke Island, and his wife wanted to meet me. And I went over and I thought, she'll be up herself. But she was a really, really nice lady, really, really nice. And she just wanted to tell me her grandson could take me off to perfection. And it happens everywhere. I go to pubs, I go to nightclubs, and the young girls will come and say, g'day, your old mate, or they'll ask me to do it for them, and they'll get the old video out. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just, and I don't know where it happened. It just happened. It's just one of those things.
It's certainly,
because nothing about me's planned. People say to me when I do my talks, people say when they have questions, "Oh, did you have a vision? Did you have a strategy? What's a strategy?" Like when I went into business, I didn't even know when the guy first offered to lend me money. He offered to finance me into it. I had to say to him, what's finance? I had no idea. And, one of the things I'd say to people, don't be scared. If you're not sure, ask. I went to a speaker one day at the Sheraton Hotel, brought out by the 1ZB in those days, and it was about, $300 a ticket. And the guy's talking, and I had no idea what he's talking about. So I put my hand up, and he said, questions after. I said, like shit, mate, I'm telling you something. I don't know what you're talking about. You're using words I've never heard of. I'm a butcher, for God's sake, from Mangere, South Auckland. And I always remember to my right there were 3 car dealers, and you can tell they were car dealers, white shoes, the gold chain, all the bloody bullshit. And they took the mickey out of me, and I said, well, I tell you what, in those days I always carried a bit of cash, not now because I'm on the pension. And I said to them, well, mate, I'll bet you 500. You tell me what he was talking about. And they couldn't answer.
No.
Anyhow, cut a long story short, at the break, the guy asked us, come and see me, and he thanked me for it because he said he used to talking to high-end people, and he was just talking to retailers. And, quite frankly, so you mustn't be scared to ask, if you're not sure.
So you probably learned from that when you do your own speeches and your after-dinner talks.
Mate, there's nothing fancy. The only thing that when they get me, they know I'm going to say the F word, and I don't mean fun.
Yes.
And I will say it 20 times. And it's partly to do with my cancer. Because when I got my cancer, I started to swear a lot. I'm joking, you
You're
idiot.
joking. I'm just trying to think back 30 years, Nob. You were.
Yeah, but people believe me. They nearly cry. I say, oh well, you have to excuse me. When I got the rare form of bladder cancer, I started to swear with the treatment, and the heck is come out. And then I say, no, I'm only joking.
Oh, dear. Peter, you mentioned the pension. So when you turned 65 and you had to accept money from the government, how did you feel about that? Was there any...
No problems at all. I can tell you a great story. I go down to the office where you do, and it's an open office plan. And I'm in the queue with all these people from all around the world and that, and queuing there, and a bloke comes in and he's a bit of a elkie, to be fair, and I know the guy quite well. He's never worked in his life, never paid $1 in tax, and he says to me, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be getting anything here. You know, you got bloody plenty." Well, mate, he picked the wrong guy to go, because I just said out loud and clear. The whole office heard me. "Listen here, you can go and get... I've given plenty, mate, and it's time I got a bit." And I said another thing. I said, "Mate, you've never given $1 in your life." And mate, I tell you what, everyone in the office, and the lady I went to see to do all the paperwork was an Indian lady, and she said, "Oh, that was so nice." No, but I have no objection. Yes. Because that I'm not the likes of Bob Jones or Graham Hart. I'm not in that league. I'm okay, but mate, I look at it this way. I've worked hard all my life, and I've paid plenty of tax, more than most people, because I wasn't fiddling the system like a lot of these big companies do. I was paying a fair tax, and no, it was all right, mate. Actually, I don't even know how much I get. Yeah. No,
it doesn't matter as long as you're happy with it. That's good. Peter, thank you so much for being here. It's been absolutely awesome, and I mean that as a mate, not just the whole TV thing. Oh, you're going to sign the book, but first of all, when you're performing as a speaker, you're an entertainer as well. Would you have ever liked to have been an entertainer through your life?
Mate, I would have loved to have been an entertainer. My ego would have loved it, mate. But I'm not that good. You know, I see people sing like Shane, and I see you perform. I've seen you perform so many times. I mean, last year you performed on my birthday and you rocked the joint, you know what I mean? But I am what I am. I'm a butcher that, you know, gets away with, you know, being rude to people.
I think you're the envy of a lot of comedians because your timing is perfect. And that comes naturally. You don't learn that, and you have that. So when you're talking, you're speaking, people are listening, and somebody does something, you're so quick. You're so very quick. Great time.
And you're so nice, mate.
And listen, I want you to sign my book.
Oh, now that I'm on note, I don't sign books. To that ratbag guy.
Sir Peter Leach, KNZM QSM. I'm here with the most beautiful lady and her pet dog. This is Trixie. Hello, Trixie. How are you?
Hello.
And who is this?
This is Ragamuffin. I brought him along because you have Peter on the show also, and he's heard about the Sausage King.
Oh, the Sausage King.
He wanted a sausage. Ragamuffin.
Oh, what a great name. Is he friendly?
He is friendly. You can give him a pat.
Oh, Oh, look at that.
Oh, he thinks your fingers are sausages.
Yes. They're not sausages. No, they're not.
Anyway, shall I put him away?
I think that's a good idea for now. We'll have you back later, Ragamuffin.
And you go.
And
he's disappointed. We were all ready for sausages.
Ah,
I got my tomato sauce also.
Ah! Oh. Oh, a naughty fairy, a naughty fairy.
I am a naughty fairy.
You're a little girl's dream, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You are. You entertain at children's parties? Mm-hmm. When did you start?
Oh, gosh, 20 years ago.
20 years, that's a long time. Are you from Auckland?
I'm not. I moved up to Auckland from Hawke's Bay after I finished high school to take acting classes. And I was taking classes in an evening at a theatre, and I got a job doing a puppet show for CCS, the Crippled Children's Society.
Yes.
So I did that for 4 years, and they had puppets in wheelchairs and blind puppets, deaf puppets, and so disability awareness. And while I was at the theatre, another person taking classes was Walnut the Clown, Mike Colonna.
Yes.
So he suggested that I should be a fairy and have my own business. So I was just like, like, okay. And he taught me a couple of magic tricks and told me to get a costume made. So a mutual friend of ours made one. And then he's just like, okay. I went to a couple of parties with him, and then he's like, you're on your own. So,
Wow.
so I started doing parties, and then after a couple of months, school holidays were coming up, and he said that he'd booked the green room at the Pump House for the school holidays for me, and I better have a full puppet show ready. So, yeah, it was kind of paint by numbers, but he led
Was
me
it
into an
marionettes or hand puppets?
I
or-
started with hand puppets, so
Yes.
so like a little puppet booth which I stood behind, and the stage was about there, and my puppets were up here, and yes, I did that for 4 years, and then I took a break and went overseas for a little while.
Wow. Michael Colonna. Wow.
Michael Colonna.
We'd have to have him on the show. He's obviously he's created something beautiful. Do you only entertain girls?
No, I do boys' parties also.
do?
I'm Fairy Trixie, and I also do Super Trixie, so that's a superhero, and I'm in the blue lycra with my red cape, and different show, and a different pram, painted up a different pram also, because all my birthday parties I rock in with my pram, and it's full of magic tricks and surprises, and
Fabulous.
mobile. Hit the ground running as soon as we go in. So there's Super Trixie also, and I've just started doing Magical Trixie.
So you're not Trixie, you're Paula.
I am Paula.
Paula Ray.
Yes, you can call me Paula from now on.
Thank you, Paula. Tell me, how do you get your work? Because in New Zealand, particularly for children's entertainers, it can be rather tough. Do you work through an agency or just through Michael? Or
No,
your
it's
own?
mostly, well, it's my own. And I have a website. It's a gorgeous website, trixieTheFairy.com.
TrixieTheFairy.com.
It's very, very cute. People like it. A little out of date, but
No,
really
it's
nice.
gorgeous. It's a book. It's in a book form.
It is.
And
It's
you'll
so
enjoy
cute.
it. So that's Trixie, TRIXIE,
TheFairy.com.
Yes.
And also on Facebook, Trixie the Fairy on Facebook. So word of mouth, and because I've done it for 20 years, like I do Big Sisters parties, and then a few years later I'll do the Little Sisters party,
yes, yes.
and I get repeat bookings, and every party that I go to, I tag the children at the end, a little foil ribbon with my business card, so they go home with that, and I expect from every party that I do to get one booking at least, and there's a lot of pushing though. It's like as soon as I stop pushing, then work kind of stops.
dries up.
So like every time school holidays finishes, it's like the next week it's onto like the phone to malls or whatever if you want work the following school holidays. So
Yes.
it's always like push, and yeah.
But over the 20 years, you've managed to eke out a living?
Yes. It is my bread and butter. I pick up other jobs along the way just because Auckland is expensive, and I bought a house a couple of years ago, and I can live on being a fairy and entertaining, but that's all I'd be doing, living, and you know,
Yes,
I just,
yes,
you know, like
yes.
I and also being raised the way that I was, we were raised to be independent and with a good work ethic. So whenever I look at my diary and there's empty spaces, then I just want to fill them with other things. So the other month, while the arts festival was on, I did front of house and got to see all the shows, and
Right.
got paid for it. And
Have you ever taken Trixie the Fairy to adult functions?
well, it just so happens I did my first rest home the other week.
Wow.
Actually, no, I took off my wings. Yeah, so I'd call that more Magical Trixie. But occasionally, I've had a couple of bookings where I've been told it's an adult party. There will be a couple of children there, but they've seen me at children's parties, and they just want me to come along and mix and mingle because it's kind of charming.
Yes, it is. Yes, I could see a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
What of the future?
Oh, I do adult entertainment, which just sounds wrong coming from a fairy, but as Magical Trixie, or my burlesque name, Dizzy Summers, like I wouldn't say I do burlesque so quite, but within a burlesque show, I break it up with the magic and what have you. So I do that, and yeah, hopefully more rest homes. And I don't know, adults are a little bit more scary than children.
Yes, aren't they?
I know
Yes.
some people say they would never work
I
with
know.
children and animals. I do both, and I'm just so comfortable with it that yeah, sometimes adults can be a little bit scary, especially drunk adults.
Yes, you want to keep away from them.
Yeah.
I try, it doesn't always work. The costume we're wearing now looks absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Could we see you performing in that costume?
Absolutely.
What about a little bit of something?
Yeah. Well, Guy, I've had such an awesome time coming to visit you today. I want to invite you to a party at my house. In fact, I want to invite everybody out in TV land to a party at my house. Now, this is my house. I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking it's a little bit small, but I'm going to let you in on a secret. At night time, when the moon comes out, I get a little bit of moon dust, and I take a little pinch of my magic fairy dust. I mix it together, I sprinkle it over myself, and I shrink down so I'm teeny tiny. Then I'm so small that I can easily flap my wings and fly away, and I'm so small that I can fit in my house. Now, this isn't just any old house. This is a talking house. When I open the front door, it says squeak. And when I walk up the stairs to my bedroom, the stairs say squeak, 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 squeak. So I started thinking, maybe my house is a mouse. Yeah? So I started working on a little trick. I got a little box, and on this side it says house. On this side it says mouse. Now I figure it can't be hard to turn a house into a mouse. All you have to do is change one letter, an H into an M. So I'll put that house over there. I gotta give it a little sprinkle of magic dust. A little wave of my wand. And I'm hoping that the house has turned into a mouse.
Oh, yes.
House into mouse. Ah, actually, now I've got two houses. Well, I will when I turn you back tonight. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Trixie.
Thank you.
You're obviously a performer. But if you weren't a performer, have you ever had any desire to be anything else in life?
No. I moved to Auckland to start acting classes, and that was always my dream. But very early on, I learnt that I can control this. If I push and search for work, then it'll come to me. Whereas like with acting, felt that I was waiting for the phone to ring.
Yes.
I still have an agent, and I'll pick up an occasional ad, which is good pocket money. But yeah, it's
So first and foremost, it's Trixie the Fairy and her brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
and you doing the work, the hard work, in picking up the gigs.
and on my last year of high school. Shall I tell you this? My last,
Really?
yes, on my last year of high school, my dad was concerned about what I would do. So unbeknownst to me, he started sending out letters to companies that were advertising, looking for secretaries. And then I got an interview, and so my dad had written the letter and sent it in, and then told me that I had an interview, and he bought me an outfit to wear to it, and he said that if I got the job, I could have free board for 6 months, and you know, and then I should be able to start supporting myself and what have you. Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, he sounds like a good dad.
Oh, he is. He's an awesome dad. Yeah. He was just looking out for me.
Yes.
But
Did you
he's
take
very
the
proud.
job?
No, I
No,
didn't get
no.
it. And
Oh, you
and the
didn't get
crazy
it?
thing is, like, I did typing at school, and like I'm a very good touch typist, which is really handy now with emails and everything. But anyway, I got there, and it was an electric keyboard, and like my fingers, maybe they were lingering too long over the keys, because it was like t t t t t t, and then a few words or what have you, and it was just like, so embarrassed, but I'm glad.
Yes. Well, I think there's a lot of children and grown-up children as well that are glad as well. Trixie, it's been really wonderful having you on the show. Thank you so very, very much.
I didn't give you a fairy wish. Can I give you a fairy wish?
I'd love you to give me a fairy wish.
I have some magic dust, so I have to give you a little sprinkle. Oh, so
the
you
ball.
can wish for anything you want in the. Oh no, sorry, magic dust. Oh, sorry, magic dust always makes me sneeze. Sorry.
That's not what I was thinking of. It's-
I had donuts for lunch.
yeah.
Don't tell my mum. That was embarrassing. Also, I have a magic wand,
Ah.
and its specialty is making magic dust disappear. So I did make a little bit of a mess. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go. You're looking
thank you.
manly again.
I am I? Oh, that's nice. Trixie, if you were to meet a young person wishing to become a fairy, what advice would you give them?
I think, depending on what their interests are, there's so much fairy entertainment out there. You can create a fairy party just using games.
Yes.
I started out just face painting, a couple of magic tricks, and balloon twisting. So there are fairies that face paint, storytell. I do storytelling but with magic. So,
Yes.
and the trick you saw before, it's a little story with a surprise ending.
Yes.
So yeah, just think about what you want to do and get out there and do it. You could offer your services to community groups and get some experience. And actually, all the kids are so fantastic computer wise now. Make yourself a website and yeah, it kind of seems that the glossier the website and you can say anything practically on the internet, you know.
Yes.
And yeah, but I think. Visibility on the internet would get you a lot of work, and yeah.
And if they are any good, like you, then the continuity of work
20
comes.
years later.
Yes,
I
yes.
did not expect that.
It's proof indeed of how wonderful Trixie is. Wonderful. Trixie, thank you so very much. It's been a delight, and to have you and Paula with us.
Thank you, Guy. Charming as always.
As always, yes. Well, that's our show for tonight. Wasn't it fantastic? I'd like to thank our very special guests, Sir Peter Leach and Paula Ray as Trixie the Fairy. And I'd like to invite you back here, same time, same channel, on The Guy Cater Show. And remember, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Good night.